Hey, we are here with some more Death Unto Madness. This is the show where people die and they also go mad. Maybe not in that order, but maybe sometimes in that order. Who knows what the dead gods have experienced on the other side of the planet. So we're back, and I think I was thinking through. I think my initial plan was to make some rolls for like Ophelia and Cyrillus and other things happening off screen, kind of in between sessions. But like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I feel like I want to do like a whole session just that. I'm just gonna like play by myself one day, just like whenever I have the time, do a session where I just play for Cyrillus and Ophelia and just make rolls for them and see what happens. Because I feel like I want that to be like on screen instead of just like having it happen off screen. Because then I'm also bound to the results. I can't just like fudge what's happening in the background. That seems more interesting anyway. But I think we do get kind of like a beginning scene this time, just kind of showing what the kind of state of Ophelia's court is, right? Because we got to see Cyrillus last time, and the episode probably opens up on the palace of Sinia, the Prophet King's palace. And he's obviously dead, so it's the Nakame cult that has taken it over. And we see, Althea and Perrin maybe going, they're headed to, it's probably just Perrin, because Althea is probably mega pregnant right now, if not having given birth to her child already. We did like a 3-month time skip. So you see Perrin walking through the halls of this palace. Everything's dark and gloomy, and we see various other cultists, and they're always like paired with an animal, right? Like this creepy animal djinn demon that's like following them around. So we see like Perrin has his like weird kind of wood ferret thing that is following him. Polydora. We see the person with like a lizard, and another person with a snake and other stuff like that, kind of walking through the halls. And Perrin reaches the kind of throne room, and he pushes it open. We see Ophelia sitting on the Prophet King's throne. And Ophelia looks very different. She is dressed head to toe all in black, to the point where she has like a veil. That let me see. I pinned something on my like Death Unto Madness Pinterest board a little while ago that just totally nailed Ophelia right now. That really gave me an image for what her new vibe is. See if I can find it and not kind of help me describe it properly. Here is this. Yeah, here we go. So, I think I made notes about this in my Death and Madness notes too. She's dressed head to toe in black. And and the reason she is because she's diseased now, like Cyrillus, right? She ate the meat and got diseased, and went mad. So she has kind of just kept that under wraps, but she does it in a much more elegant way than Cyrillus, right? Cyrillus has literal like mummy wrappings that are like gross and crusty and hang off of him. Ophelia has managed to, she has attendants and things and literal faith magic to help her kind of present herself much more aesthetically. And so she's dressed head to toe in black. I think if anyone I know Chad has played this game, but Knights of the Old Republic 2. I know you played the first one. I don't know if you played the second one. The Sith lady, the Mariluka, who's blind and has like a veil, kind of dressed in black.
Yeah,
so
Kreia. Isn't that Kreia?
No, not Kreia.
Oh, the other one.
The other girl, the Mariluka who comes and was working for Darth Nihilus. I can't remember her name. That's kind of the vibe that Ophelia has right now. So it's a black dress and veil. So a veil kind of like covering her face. But the only thing that's visible out of like her entire attire is just her eyes, right? Her bleeding eyes. So we see she's blind because she got like hit with the glass many episodes ago. And we still see the kind of like ever-present bleed, like magically preserved bleed marks down her face. But we just see that. Everything else is covered head to toe in black. And she her eyes are closed as Perrin walks in, and Perrin like kind of like prostrates himself before her and says, let's see. My queen, you requested me. And Ophelia opens her eyes and kind of stretches out a hand and says, yes, come closer, Perrin. And Perrin kind of shuffles forward. And Ophelia kind of like gets this strange look and kind of looks off into the middle distance. And she says, I have been having dreams of late. Dreams that trouble me, that make me question. Someone very dear to me died long ago, and now I see his face. I hear his voice. He is ever present. And yet, he is dead. I do not know how this could be. Gather the acolytes. We will perform a ritual. We will pray to the dead gods, and we will ask them for my son. He may reveal himself to me fully yet. I require answers, and the gods have been silent. And so we will give them something to hear. We will give them a question they cannot help but answer. And Perrin like nods slowly, says, of course, my queen. I will gather them at once. She says, very good. And Perrin, the city burns. Cyrillus is still out there, terrorizing our city. After we find my son, we will kill him. Tell the Nicaim that whoever brings his head to me on a platter will be exalted in this life and the next. And he nods again. And Perrin starts to turn away. Or no, I think Perrin is just like nodding and saying, yeah, again, yes, my queen. And Ophelia starts to kind of rise from the throne. And at first, it looks like she's floating. And it's like, whoa, what? When did she learn how to fly? And then we suddenly realize that there's like dozens of black spines that are like peeling out from her back and her arms like insect legs, and they're raising her into the air. And suddenly, we just see all these like black, like rigid legs or spines or something kind of raising her above the throne. And Perrin's just like staring like in awe at this. And she kind of, at the last shot we get is just her saying, Sinia is mine, and it will remain so until the end. And then Perrin just kind of like much louder just says, yes, my queen. And then death of the madness. So yeah, Ophelia's gotten creepier and scarier, and she rolled spines on her last corruption table roll. So that's what she has. But yeah, I think sometime between this session and the next session, I'm gonna like play out a couple of things. I have beliefs for him, for Cyrillus, and for Ophelia, and I'm gonna try to see what they're gonna get up to. But in the meantime, we're gonna check in with our heroes. And the people who want to make the world much better than Cyrillus or Ophelia ever would. And let's do some beliefs and instincts. Let's run through those and make sure we're all on the same page for what we're going to do this session. Alpheus the Second. What you got?
Sorry, I was talking to my mom.
All good. Beliefs and instincts and traits, my friend.
I hate Titan and want him to die. I will either escape his clutches or kill him myself.
Okay, all right.
We need military help. Therefore, I will find a Kyrides general to help us and attempt to convince him that Titan needs to die. And then I wrote this little part because it's what I want to do. I want to try to do on the way there.
Okay.
So I will find someone in our party, like our little traveling party, to give me some information on the general.
Sounds good.
I feel terrible for getting Ben kidnapped, and I will do everything I can to keep him safe and return him to his mother and father and establish him as king. My instincts are always try to talk my way out of trouble, always treat others of the lower classes with respect, always ensure that those I trust are lifted up.
Cool. And then traits, we got strong-willed, cramped hands, pragmatic, competitive, impulsive, broken in, catalyst, and driven. Catalyst, you're the center of something great and terrible. Earn a persona point each time your actions cause a conflict between two powerful personas or organizations. I was just reminding myself what that did. We got to keep that in mind if it comes up. Certainly many chances for Alpheus to get involved in something like that this season. All right, Josa.
Indeed. Josa, Pophael of Hagiel. So yes, Hagiel's power must be increased if his light is to pierce the coming darkness. I will prepare the stage for my debate against Kalik.
Nice.
If I am to maintain myself, I must not die. I will seek someone to guard us.
Fair enough.
And a true relationship with the gods is as much personal as it is a communal responsibility. I will convince Maya to find stability in her own religious life.
Ooh, that's fun.
My instincts are always pray for greater insightfulness before entering a social situation. If Thalia is addressed negatively, then I ready my knife and never reveal the true intentions behind your actions.
Very good.
I'll change that to my actions to be fitting with the rest of them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then traits, I have rabble-rouser, well-traveled, cunning and strange, as well as faithful, manhunter, weather sense, believer, vested, and incomprehensible diagnosis.
I love that that's it's a call-on for falsehood. Yep. Hiding the true facts of a medical diagnosis. Hilarious. All right, Maya. Oh man, you got a lot of fate in Persona. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Compared to the characters in We Below, at least.
I'll do whatever it takes to elevate my son to the place of Prophet King. I will find someone to go after him. The citizens of Sinia have been through many trials. I will recruit the citizens to help the Church of Hagiel to pay for food. Mm-hmm. I am Malekith's partner, and I will stand by him no matter what. I will help him with his goals in Setkiss.
Sweet.
Instincts, I always put my son first, no matter what. Never back down from a challenge. If I meet a fellow performer, I will give them my assistance.
So yeah, I gotta have Damaris have something that she needs help with.
Yeah. Traits are colorful, religious, ambitious, competitive, thick-skinned, marker privilege, bastard, and glib.
Sweet. And then we have Avera. Are you there, Carly? Otherwise, I can read off yours. Sounds good. I will read off Avera's. So Avera has beliefs. I believe that with the help of Citus, I can stop what is coming. I will work with him to find answers in the Irida. I believe Caledon is meant to be my partner in life. I will assist him with his work in Nima. I believe a lady is not noble without a bird on her arm. I will find a new companion. Instincts, if I have a task beyond my specialty, then I seek the advice of someone more competent. If I have a question, then I will consult answers from the Irida. If I meet a bird, then I will seek to determine its character. Traits: your grace, formalist, religious, competitive, careful, birdie talk, mark of privilege, dreamer, practiced precision, and driven. Okay, so let's start with Alpheus. So you guys are heading out. So as a reminder, Kyrides is right here, the actual city-state named Kyrides. And you guys are headed to the east here. Somewhere in this kind of mountainous region is where the General Spiridon's manor is. So he kind of retired from public life after being, I think it was implied or spoken outright to you at some point in the last session that Spiridon it was like, super brilliant strategist and tactician, and had a bunch of like really strong military victories, and probably could have like taken over the country if he had really wanted to, because all the armies loved him so much. But he literally just kind of grew bored with being a general and then just retired out of nowhere. And has since then just been holed up in his manor. He has like, a cadre of loyal servants and retainers that keep him, fed and happy, and, pay for or make him meals and whatever else, right? But other than that, he just lives by himself in the middle of nowhere. So Titan is grabbing you and Ben Asher and several of his men. So we have so Titan works for the Ministry of Information in Kyrides, and like while he was using thugs to do stuff for him in Sinia, I think he might have more like spies and rogues and stuff with him now, right? Like when he obviously, I think he'll take a couple of Kyrides soldiers and bodyguards and stuff, right? Like on this trip, and a couple of like servants. But I think his kind of like main team that's like around him is he has a couple of like spy buddies that are working for him and keeping an eye on you and Ben for him. But I think for irony's sake, we'll also have Nassos still stick around, right? The thug that got turned into a slave because you made him betray Titan. He'll come along as like a servant to set up the tents and stuff. I mean, I don't think it's super. There's no measurements on this map for like what the distances actually are, but I wouldn't think it would be more than a couple of days of travel to get where you're going. Is there anything in particular, like as we see the like travel montage begin and you guys set off into the jungle, you're following a road, but it probably gets smaller and smaller as you go off into like smaller, side roads to eventually get to this place. So eventually you're kind of just like hiking through a jungle. What's Alpheus doing? I assume he's talking to Ben Asher and stuff, but like, is there anything specific or particular we see Alpheus doing as we kind of get this montage?
It's just them traveling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think you would see him talking to the guys who are like watching over him, like just trying to develop some kind of rapport with them.
Okay.
Even if they don't like him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't think we need to roll on that necessarily, but Alpheus is charming enough that we can say at the very least, like, they don't hate you or anything, right? Like you're a pleasant enough fellow, and you've let their guard down a little bit at least. If you want like something particular from them, then you'll have to make a roll. But yeah, there's no reason why Alpheus wouldn't be able to talk him up a little bit. Yeah, so we see that. And Ben is doing his normal thing. He's trying. He usually talks to the servants. And is just generally as kind and helpful as he can be. And I think what we see is you guys get into the mountains there, right? In either the foothills or whatever mountainous kind of region is over there. I'm not sure how high they'd actually be, but up definitely high altitude at this point, kind of going like a pass going up into higher and higher into these hills, surrounded by tropical trees and brightly colored birds. And it's a jungle, so you typically get rainstorms. But then on the last day, before you this is the last day of travel, and by the end of it, you'll at least be in sight of the manor. It starts getting worse. Like the storm doesn't let up. Like the normal kind of jungle storm that happens, starts getting worse and worse and worse, and eventually to the point where the party just kind of stops, and you're like, we need to find shelter or something. And about the time where you kind of Titan says that, or whoever says that does so, and people start looking around and okay, where are we gonna go? A giant lightning bolt just strikes very nearby, enough to deafen a bunch of people for a moment. And in general, you probably have a couple of pack animals with you. They bolt, and torrents of rain are just pouring down, and it's just crazy chaotic storm. Would this be the sort of moment that Alpheus would try to capitalize on and be ooh, we should try to make a run for it? Because the thing is, you still want to go to the general, right? If you just run away from that spot and abandoned that, you'd eventually be found by Kyrie's soldiers and arrested again. But at the very least, this might be an opportunity to break free of Titan's capture of you. You're still in bonds, you and Ben Asher, right? They're keeping you in bonds during the travel. They're being careful about this. But there's definitely a moment here where everything is in chaos, and I feel like for whatever reason, Ben Asher is near you, right? And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like the rain or the lightning affected you and him as much as everybody else. It was still loud and stuff, but it seems like everyone's reacting too strongly to it or something. They're all holding their ears, and you just have a slight ringing in yours. So yeah, you seem in terms
how
of
much time do I have?
I was gonna say, yeah, in terms of D&D combat terms, right? You have the initiative, and everyone else is surprised, right? It's you have a moment here, an action's worth of something to do, a roll's worth, basically, right? To try to attempt something. And for you, Chad, this is actually the thing that we were talking about. Josh's character, literally has a trait called Weather Sense, and he used Weather Sense to basically call down a storm, just predict perfectly that a storm would be happening here. And yeah.
But to help me, or just that there would be
to help
one?
you. Yeah.
Specifically to target Titan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, as you were talking in my head, I go, oh, I could kill him.
I mean, you're not very good at killing people, but
I know. That's why I'm okay, so maybe I do just have to try to run away, or I don't know what else I could do.
You could try to, yeah, I mean, if you had a little bit more time, you could have, you just have a moment to act here. If you had a little bit more time. I want to roll
escape artist to get out of my bonds.
Get out of your bonds again. You have been learning this. What do you got right now?
But if I fail it, can I still get away, but with still tied up? So it's easier for them to get me, or
basically
something?
The idea is if you fail to do the escape artist, you'll lose the initiative. So you can still try to run, but they'll actually be chasing you instead of you bolt into, because if you, one way to do it would be bolt into the jungle first and then try to get your bonds off. But you can do it whatever way you want.
I want to try to get them off first.
Sounds good. Okay, that sounds like an escape artist roll. It's there on your being learned already. I'll go ahead and look and see what the obs are for that. I think it's in the codex, right? It's a wolf skill.
Yes, it's in the codex, yeah.
Rex.
Codex, there we go. I still really want to do a campaign at some point with Great Wolves. I think that'd be awesome. All right. Wolf skills. Escape artist. Collars, leashes, traps, cages. This would probably be leashes. Because I don't know if it would be a collar per se. Yeah, we'll go ob 2 with this one. Yeah, so put in ob2 for escape artist. You can go ahead and try it. It's going to be hard, but possible.
Yeah, I have no helps, huh?
I mean, you could. Ben Asher's right there if you want him to help you. I mean, especially because it's being learned, he doesn't even need to have a skill to help you with. He can literally just help you with perception or agility, right?
Yeah, have him help me.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah, just be like, Ben, help me get these off, right? Sure. You can
So I get one?
Add one, yep. You have 4 persona if you'd like to spend one of those before you roll.
Sure.
This is pretty important, so you can spend up to 3.
Oh, I can?
Yep.
I'm going to use 2.
Sounds good. So yeah, put that in the Artha section.
Do I do additional ob or no?
No additional ob. It should just be 2 as the base, and that's it. Nice. That was a
Oh.
good roll. Yeah, almost
Sweet.
all successes with the dice you had. Nice. Cool. So go ahead and mark another bubble on escape artist there. You're closer to learning it. But yeah, Alpheus gets his chains off, like his manacles, like in the
I'm surprised that
in the
he got
slick
him
rain,
off.
right? In the slick rain, and with a little bit of leverage help from Ben, you managed to slide them off your wrists. And I mean, Ben still has his on, but you could probably just grab him and make a break for it, right?
Yeah, that's what we run away. But like, so I kind of know where I'm going, right?
So you at least know the path that's leading to it. So if you just, but also keep in mind, the whole party is walking down the road right now. So if you just like ran down the road, you'd still be in sight of everyone. If you run off into the jungle, you could lose them and then eventually make your way back to the road.
Yeah, we can go to the jungle.
Well, that's a jungle. It'd be like a leopard, but or a jaguar. I want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. I think you can certainly just like book it into the jungle without a roll. Like everyone's confused and like Titan's like on the ground, like like still like deafened from the lightning bolt. And everyone's just kind of like gaining their bearings again. And then you just like after like maybe a tense couple of seconds of just like tramping through the underbrush, you hear a couple of shouts from behind you, like they've now realized that you're gone. What's your actual plan here? Run into the jungle far enough that you can lose them, try to hide somewhere, circle around immediately back to the manor.
How long do these rainstorms last? Like one day or weeks or?
Oh, you know what? One thing before you guys run, I think actually, Ben turns to you, like, so you get yours off and he turns to you and he says, "We need to get Knossos. We can't leave him."
Oh my. Where do we know where he's at?
Yeah, he's right next to you. Yeah. He's like surprised and like looking away, but.
Well, he's going to be mad at us for taking him probably. Well, maybe not. He's their slave now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, he can come with us. I'd be like, okay, yeah, get him. Let's get him.
Yeah, so Ben like grabs his arm and like tugs him like, "Come on." And Knossos is confused for a second, but I think like he understands enough that he runs off into the jungle with you. So yeah, what are you planning on doing?
Super quickly, can I roll Die of Fate to see if Titan is struck by lightning?
No. No. He did not get struck by lightning.
Dang.
That would be too easy. Maybe someday, but not in the second session of the season.
So does it rain forever? Like would there be any benefit to finding a place like to get out of the rain and then to hide and then get out of the rain and then start running?
Sure. Yeah. Find some outcrop somewhere.
Yeah, so we find somewhere to hide and then as soon as the rain stops, we'll make our way to the manor, but not on the main road. So we have to figure out another way to get there.
Sounds good. So there is a role here for you to like find a place to hide and not be found, right? I think it's probably just stealthy versus observation. I'm not sure if Titan has that or if anyone else in his party does. Let's take a look. He does not have observation, and I don't think anyone else. Oh yeah, he's been learning it. He's been rolling it a couple times, or I think maybe Josh gave him a couple of tests for it, for practice. So I'll go ahead and roll for him, and then this will be your ob for. He does get a couple of help dice though from his buddies.
I can't roll inconspicuous.
Wow, that was actually a terrible roll. He got 4 1s. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, your ob is 2. So you're gonna be rolling an ob 2 stealthy.
But I don't have that.
You do not. Yeah, so I'll have to add it to your being learned. That's based on speed.
It'll be a base ob 1 stealthy.
Yep, base ob 1 because you're rolling both rolling stats. So
what is it?
So yeah, put in 1 for the ob.
Speed?
Yep. Yeah, speed. Yeah. You're very not good at speed. This is actually your worst attribute.
What am I rolling for?
So
to find somewhere to hide?
Yeah, just to find somewhere to hide. And mainly it all it matters is that you beat their observation. So put it in
ob 2.
Put it in ob 1 because it will automatically double to 2. That's what
does Nasos and Ben can help?
No, this is like a.
Well, I think I got it.
This not really. Yeah, it's not really a thing you can help with, sort of thing. But yeah, you got it. And Tygo's the defender, right? So you're being hunted. So, I think we see probably a tense moment, right, where you guys like find a little like small cave, right, and kind of hide in like a little outcropping of rock and kind of hide in there for a little while, and some soldiers shuffle past, yelling to each other like, "Where are they?" And but they pass on without finding you. And eventually the rain starts to let up, and the shouts that were once close are now distant and then gone. So, they're probably still searching for you, but they've, gone off. So now I think that's probably the point where Nasos, no one's been brave enough to say anything, right? Because you want to be quiet, but Nasos turns to you, Alpheus, and then just like punches you across the face.
No.
Just takes a big swing and
I want to punch him back.
Hits you straight across the shot. You do?
No, I think I would. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what Alpheus would do.
He just smacks you, just slams you right across the jaw, and he just says, "Now we're even." Like there's a moment where you're wondering if he's just gonna like beat you up, and he's like standing over you, and he just says that. He's like, "Now we're even."
All right, I won't hit him back. I'll just tell him. I don't know. I just tell him fair enough, and like grab my chin, and be like, "Oh."
Yeah. And Ben looks at you, Alpheus, and says, "Okay, well, what's the plan now?"
I feel like he would have looked at me like, "You deserve that," or something.
No, Ben wouldn't say that.
Well, I would ask Nasos if he knows anything about the general, so that I can think of a way to talk to him to persuade him to help me.
Sure. Let's take a look at Nasos' skills. He has brawling, guard-wise, knives, murder-wise, and street-wise.
Street-wise?
Yeah, I mean, streetwise is like navigating a city. I don't think he knows anything about the general. And he just like shrugs and he says, "I don't know. He's a famous guy. I've heard a couple of stories about some of the battles he's been in, but I don't know. What do you need to know?"
Tell me everything you know.
You're still doing this? Thought we were escaping.
We just had to get away from Titan. We still have to get the general to help us.
If you walk in there, Titan's going to be on the doorstep in at least a couple of hours.
No, they'll be looking for us. They wouldn't go there. They wouldn't expect us to go there.
I think you underestimate Titan's ability to guess behavior. He knew this was your plan all along, to hire this general, right?
Does he know that?
I mean, yeah, that's why he took you in the first place. He's like, that's a great idea, Alpheus, and now you're doing it for me. Yeah, and Knossos is just like, I say we just book it to the nearest port and buy passage out of here. With money that we steal from someone that we see on the road.
If I thought I could do that, I would. Because I want to get Ben back. That's like more important to me, right? Well, I think it is.
Depends. I don't know.
I feel like Alpheus would be more important to him. Like him wanting to get Ben back is more important to him than convincing the general. But convincing the general helps me save the whole country.
Yes.
Or I could try to just save
Ben's
just
on board
Ben.
with that plan, right? Like he's been on board with it. He's like, he was fine with you going and talking to the general still, right?
Yeah, but I think if I go to the manor, then Titan's probably going to think I am going there.
Yeah.
So then escaping wouldn't really have meant anything.
I mean, you're going to at least have, like, you think, a couple of hours to talk to the general first, right? If you can get him on your side before Titan shows up.
Well, I would ask Knossos again, like, are you sure there's nothing else you know about this guy?
I can make an untrained roll for him, but he also only has a 3 perception, so I'll do it. Let's see. Famous generals wise.
That's not a thing.
Well, it is, because you can make anything a wise.
Oh.
All right.
Maybe he's really into military history.
Well, he got the equivalent of 1 ob. So he knows basic information, which is the stuff I already told you, right? So he's just like, yeah, he's a famous general. He did a lot of cool things.
It'd be like if someone's like, do you know who George Washington is? Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, I guess he chopped down a cherry tree and he
and he had wooden teeth.
And he crossed a river once.
All right. Man, we should have just left Knossos. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think we just try to get there as fast as possible.
Yeah, so I think Knossos...
Hoping, because there's no other options. Otherwise, we'll die in the jungle, probably.
Probably.
Or someone's going to find us.
Knossos is just shaking his head, and he just says, well, I'm not coming with you. Can you help me get these off?
Where are you going to go?
He still has like a slave collar or something on. He's like, help me get this off, and I don't know, I'll go to the nearest port.
And then what? Tell him where we are?
No, I just need to get away.
What do you think, Ben?
Ben's like looking at Knossos, like disappointed in him. He's like, Knossos, we freed you. Now, you and Alpheus are even, but I'd like to think that our friendship means a little bit more to you than just abandoning us. And I think I'll have Ben.
He's got to persuade him to stay.
Yeah, I'll have Ben make a roll. He has a 2 in persuasion, so I'll go ahead and do it. Do you want to help him, Alpheus?
Yeah.
What do you say?
You do. I tell him you do owe the kid.
Okay.
Because I was going to leave you.
Yeah. You can give him 2 dice with your persuasion, right?
Okay.
So he's now rolling 4 dice against 4. So at least it's possible. All right. Ooh, he got 3 6s. All right. Well, he definitely has at least a couple of fate to spare, because he's been doing things behind the scenes. So I will go ahead and just spend the 1 fate to reroll all 3 of those 6s. Well, he only got 1, but it's all you needed.
We got it. Okay. Yep.
Very good. Very good. And you're helping Ben become a king.
I'm so proud of my boy.
By getting a difficult test on his persuasion. Now he just needs.
What
2
else is he going to
routines.
learn from Alpheus? It's the only thing Alpheus is good at.
Alpheus knows how to blacksmith.
I've never rolled that. I don't.
I know.
Ever rolled that.
One of these days it'll
I
be
should.
relevant.
Yeah.
You're gonna get there, and the general's like, "Listen, I would love to help you, but I'm gonna have to have you make me a sword first." That's the only way I'll follow. Cool. So Nasos like kind of grumbles, and he's like, "Fine, I'll be the warning. I'll watch once we get to the manor. I'll watch for Titan, and I'll let you know he's there. But as soon as he shows up, I'm running."
Just don't run off too far because the kid will miss you.
And he kind of like grumbles like, "Don't have time for this mushy stuff." And Ben like nods. "Thank you, Nasos. This means a lot." And yeah, you guys trudge through the rain-soaked jungle to the manor. Cool. Well, let's jump over to Joser and Maya, shall we? And see what they're up to. What you guys have all sorts of beliefs that you can work at. What do we see? What do you want? Is there something that we can have both of you work on at once, or is everybody kind of having separate goals this time?
I mean, Joser has a belief about me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we could do that. We'll start with that. Or no?
Yeah, I got to figure out. So, what does Malekith believe? What god does he
Malekith
worship?
is a worshiper of Pyrrhus. So I mean, the way that the religions work in this world, like everyone kind of agrees more or less on the same pantheon of gods. It's just that people kind of
Who's
have
the highest
a patron. Yeah, this is our favorite one. And so everyone believes in Pyrrhus, even though he's like originally from this country. Like they believed in Pyrrhus, and whether or not it was when he came to Sinia or beforehand, you don't know. But he's been a worshiper of Pyrrhus for a long time.
Because I feel like Maya is a very lukewarm believer. She's more like,
I mean, most people are.
Right, but I mean, yeah, exactly. And she's just gonna be like, "Oh, sure, like that's what my husband thinks that Pyrrhus is the best one." So
yeah,
you know, I adopted him as my patron or whatever. But yeah, she's fairly lukewarm about it, though.
Mm-hmm. Maya might also have an affinity for Hopsef, because of the music and the arts or whatever. But
yeah, I mean that's probably the one that she had before she met him, and then when she got married, she was just like
switch patrons. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so what are we? I'm gonna frame this for us, Joser. Like, where do you find Maya when you want to grill her about her religion?
I think that's the thing. That Joser wouldn't seek you out specifically for this conversation.
Sure.
It'd be
in the process of something else.
It's like the conversation about Ben Asher last session, where it's just we're on the way somewhere and you bring it up. So, let's see.
I mean, yeah,
that's fine. We could do stuff separate, and if it comes up that we're together, then that's fine.
I mean, there's also you guys also just generally work together to help the Sinian refugees most days, right? So it could just be during the course of normal stuff.
Then I would want to have a conversation with Malekith in the morning, then, so that way it can kind of guide my day.
Yep.
I want to work on. I will help him with his goals in Zedkiss.
Sure. Yep.
Because apparently he has secrets from me, so you know
he has exactly one secret from you.
I mean, Joser wants to make a comment to Malekith as well, so we probably just meet up there.
That's true. He has 2 secrets from you.
Wait, what?
We learned last time, or at least Maya missed it, but Joser found out through astrology that Malekith knew about Titan beforehand.
Yeah.
But I'll say that right now, his third belief is actually not about that. So he has 2 secrets from you.
Now, but he doesn't actually know that Titan's the one who kidnapped him, though, right?
I don't think so. I don't know if
I don't think he actually knows that.
Maybe. I mean, he might suspect it.
Yeah,
but
that's
I don't
fair.
think he knows for sure.
Because I described him.
I'm sure you described him. Yeah. And it probably would be a thing of like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Titan kidnap my son? But he doesn't know enough to go off anything yet. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Cool. Yeah. So you probably are just like Malekith is maybe making some notes about the supplies you guys need. And you like come up to him at his desk. It's in the morning. Everybody's kind of getting ready for the day. And yeah, what do you say?
So, she'll kind of do like the wifey thing where she leans across his desk and kind of looks over his notes and looks down at him and just says, "What are you working on today?"
The same thing I've been working on for the past 3 months, trying to keep these people alive and happy enough to not tear themselves apart.
Well, hopefully today I can recruit some people to help with the Church of Hagiel. They've agreed to at least feed us for the time being.
And that has been a lifesaver. Our supplies were not going to last much longer.
Malekith, I've been thinking though about what happens when we go home.
Yes.
Well, I'm working to find somebody to find our son. And she tries not to tear up again, and she's just tries to shake it off, and she just says, "What if we had more official help from the country to help in the aid of our son, finding our son?"
What do you mean, Maya?
Well, you're from here. Our son is technically half of this country.
That doesn't mean he's a citizen, though.
No, but Setkis used to be a great nation. They used to rule many different parts of the world.
Once upon a time, yes.
Would it be so terrible for them to extend their reach to why can't I think of Kyrides?
Sinia?
No.
Your
Sinia.
city? Yeah.
Yeah, Sinia.
I see. You're thinking our solution to this is to offer Sinia as tribute, basically?
I mean, our son could still be king, but under their
A proxy
protection.
king for the new Setcassian Empire.
I mean, just think about it, Malekith. We're already struggling to keep our heads above water. I don't know. I'm not in
I
politics.
understand.
It was just
no,
it was just an idea.
It would certainly work. That's the trouble with it. But I left Setkis for a reason, Maya.
You have no family that could help us then? You never talk about them, so I don't know. And I've never prodded, but
I don't have any anymore.
what does that even mean?
They're dead. It's been a long time since I had anything resembling relatives in Setkis.
No cousins?
He shakes his head.
I mean,
He seems uncomfortable with this line of questioning.
She's never really because she's never pushed it before.
No, yeah, and he's never talked
because
about it.
she doesn't. She's only had her mom. That's
Yep.
literally it. So she's like, if you don't have family, I don't have family. So it's it's not something to go crazy about. But I do want to push it a little bit though, and just be like, so what happened? I guess I'm confused. Were you an only child? Small family?
Maya, I would prefer not to speak on this further.
Malekith, I love you. But if our son is in danger, we need any help we can get. You don't even have to be the ones to talk to them if you don't want to. I will do it.
All right,
I'm desperate at this point.
There's a role here for sure. It's going to be a very difficult one, but it's technically possible, right? It's not like he's gonna. There's a way that this could go in Maya's favor, but we're gonna have to figure out what that ob is here. So Malekith's will is 5, but he also has a very strong belief directly against this
Okay.
line of questioning. So
There's no way I could like I know I kind of been wording this as persuasion-y, but is there no way I could frame this as an ugly truth? Because it's basically like if we don't get help from somebody here, like our son could die.
So I don't think so, because
Okay.
knowing what I know about like the answer to this question,
Okay.
it's not like an immediate like, oh yeah, you're right. If I don't share this, he will die. Like it's an
Okay.
indirect sort of thing. But
Okay.
you coming at it from the angle of we need every help, every bit of information we can get. Like you need to like let me know what you know so we can figure this out together. That's the angle you take.
Right.
That's
persuasion.
actually possible.
Okay. That's fair.
So
Rather than just being harsh, be like, you're a terrible person.
Right.
And
And
you need to tell me or else our
I
son
basically
will
just
die.
don't think that will work, given what I
Yeah.
know this is.
Okay.
Josh, do you remember? I know there's like rules for if someone has a belief against something like this. It might be just a dual wits thing or something, but is it like? Do you remember what the specific ruling is? There's like a particular plus penalty when someone has a direct belief against.
Yeah,
Something like this.
I know there's.
It might be interrogation that I'm thinking.
I know
of.
I know the general rule for interrogation. I think there is one for like a separate rule for it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'll quickly check the index.
Let me look at interrogation. Oh, I just moved it. Yeah. Well, exponent of the person being interrogated plus any traits plus situational disadvantages, like if the victim has belief. So it just kind of lets you decide. It kind of puts up in the air, which I'm fine with. I'm thinking we'll increase it by 2. So I think it's gonna be an ob 7.
Okay.
To pull this off, but if you want to like try to build a case and fork all the things and
Yeah. So yeah,
you have
I wanna...
5 persona. You could bank 3 persona in this. Plan to spend fate, fork all the things, you know.
Okay. So can I fork in soothing platitudes?
Certainly.
Husband wise?
Of course.
Family
wise and family secret wise.
Literally, Maya is built for this.
That's the perfect fork for this, yeah. You can fork in ugly truth, right? You can't roll it by itself, but you can certainly fork it in, I think, here.
Okay, so I've got 5. I think that's it. I don't think I did enough.
I don't think you're lying about anything
drama-wise.
And I don't think you're acting. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay, so 5. And then, do I spend the persona? I'm rolling 11 dice against an ob 7.
That's still not necessarily super good odds.
Super great, right?
Yeah.
Let's do 2 persona.
Okay.
Let's do 2 persona. So,
Sounds good. Go for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got
If you
7...
succeed on this roll, it will upend the entire campaign. let's just put it that way.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Go for it.
It's that big?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Oh my god, seriously? Okay, so 5 advantage, 5 forks, 2 Artha.
7 ob.
7 ob.
Whoa. Right on the money. That was a really good roll, too.
Wow.
All right. So, yeah, make sure you mark that Artha that you spent in it.
Okay. So many Artha in Persuasion.
Yeah, I bet. So, you say all this, right? And he's just like quiet and contemplative and just like looking down at his notes. And he stands up.
So yeah, I think if he does that for a second, she'll like kind of like she'll just be like, okay, I'm sorry, I won't push, and then she'll like start to like walk away.
And he stands up and like takes a step away from you and goes to like some pile of parchments or like a box or something, right? Like a chest or something that you guys have. Opens it up, rifles through some things, opens up a false bottom and pulls something out. And he like walks over and holds it out to you. And it is, if you like turn back to him, it is
like,
I'm trying to think exactly what this would be. So I think either way, it's not going to be immediately obvious to you with the significance of it, but I'm trying to figure out. I need to crowdsource.
Do you want to
this.
just message me?
I need to crowdsource this, but I also don't want to ruin the reveal. Because it would be like a trinket or something that would.
Is this to do with the setting thing that we talked about?
Yes. I think you've probably guessed it at this point.
Hang on, I may have a suggestion. Let me just quickly check something.
Because this is about his origins. And it would be something that like he's had his entire life probably that would indicate exactly why he has no family. Because it's probably different for each of you. For each of them.
Yeah, I'll send you a message on Discord.
Yeah. Probably different for each of them. I just need to figure out exactly. This is important. This is very important.
Oh God. Okay. I did not realize Malekith had such a big secret.
I didn't realize you were going to be able to pull that many forks and Artha and all that together.
Come on. Do you know me but at all?
I guess. But like also it's just, I didn't realize that Maya would frame it this way. And the way you framed it was like made it possible to actually break this barrier that he put up. Gurno the Clunker is typing. See what he says. Ow.
Because if it's to do with the thing, why
it is. I'm trying to figure out like
so dedicated to his god.
A small thing like that, but isn't just a fish because that doesn't really work.
I mean, you could just go with the creature. I suggested, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So it's like a little. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay. So he hands you a little crab pendant. Right. It's a little pendant, like little amulet thing that has like a crab insignia or whatever. Right. Or it's basically just a crab on a chain. Oh, I'm getting so many messages. Not just from you, from someone else. And as you're probably confused, right? You hold this in your hand. You're like, what does this mean? And then it comes to life in your hand. Right? It becomes a little crab, like the chain kind of disappears suddenly, and it becomes a little crab that kind of like walks around your hand for a second. And he looks at you and his eyes suddenly glow blue. And he says,
crab?
No, your husband, Malekith. His eyes.
Malekith? Okay.
Yeah, his eyes.
So confused.
What kind of Lostos? Why not both?
Yeah. His eyes glow blue. And he says, kind of like in a weird beatific voice all of a sudden, he says, I have no origin on, I have no family. At least none that live in Setkis that I know of. Maya, the world is changing. Gods are dying, or they are being changed. My name is Pyrrhus, god of the oceans, god of trade. I was killed.
My husband is a god?
Yes, I was killed, and now I was reborn. I have known this for most of the campaign.
What?
I definitely just thought you were going to make him a world hopper, but
I mean,
that's a lot bigger.
Given the way the universe works, he technically also is.
Well, I think my faith just got a lot stronger, that's for sure.
That's fair, yeah. And his, everything calms down. The crab goes back to normal, and he kind of like grabs the pendant back, and he just says, I have not been trying to keep this a secret from you intentionally, but I think you might be right. I don't think I can hide who I am anymore. I don't think I can run from these problems.
This is literally just
anymore.
Maya's face.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did not mean to lie.
This is so just not at all what I thought.
Uh-huh. He says, especially in Sinia, I was in the most danger I've ever been. If Ophelia had found out who I was, she would have killed me. I stayed because I wanted to protect my city.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
I think Maya says that,
yeah.
but like a lot more like shocked and afraid than I am speaking in my tone right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just gotta get the because she would. I think she's scared.
Probably.
Honestly.
Oh yeah, 100%. That makes sense.
I like that. Like Alyssa's just shocked. Maya is scared.
Yep.
I think. Like once his like eyes like go down, I think she just like. I don't know if she just like shakes her head or. Did you know who I was this whole time?
He looks down and he says,
Is that?
There are prophecies, Maya.
Is that why you married me?
Things beyond both of our control.
No. Is that why you married me?
Ben Asher was made to rule Sinia. Was born to rule Sinia, he says. But I married you because I love you.
Oh. Okay, I think that kind of softens her heart.
Yeah.
I think she's like really scared, like, and then she like, but then like the moment he says that though, I think she like looks at his eyes and like sees like the same eyes that like she's seen like this whole time.
Mm-hmm. And
she just like goes to like embrace him.
Yeah, he embraces you back. And he seems very relieved. He's like, okay, she's not like terrified of me. Like, that's good.
She still has a lot of questions.
Yeah. He kind of lost some of his accent throughout this whole thing. Like, I haven't been.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
I haven't been very consistent with his accent anyway, but he does have like a more thicker, like AutoCAD accent most of the time. But he kind of has lost it. And yeah, he says as he holds you, he says, I used to believe that prophecies could not be thwarted. But every day that Ben is beyond our reach, I grow more and more worried. There are forces in this world who would seek to end this, who would seek to end what he can become. We have to stop them.
She like pulls away and she just nods.
And that is why I'm worried about giving Sinia to Setkus. He looks at you. About giving Sinia to Seraphim, my brother, the god of death. Because that is what we would be doing.
She nods.
He is the one who set all of this into motion. He is the one who killed me.
Okay. If we can answer all these questions like out of like character and stuff like that, but
Sure.
she's gonna be asking like, so if you're dead, how are you here? You know, like were you actually a Malekith at one point and then you took over his body? Like
Right.
how did this work? Like
the quick rundown he gives you is basically the gods have been being killed, right? They're being murdered
by his brother,
by Seraphim and the Jinn and all the other dead god pantheon, right? All of them working together, right? And this wasn't happening before, right? When they were first killing the gods, they just died and they were reborn on the dark side of the planet, to become one of the dead gods of the pantheon, right? But recently, and he's not sure if it's just because it's him, if it's like the major gods, like him and he would guess like the other of his brothers would be also probably, if they were if someone tried to murder them, it might be the same thing. He's kind of walking you through these thoughts that he's having. But he's like, when I died, I didn't die all the way, and he's not sure if it's just because he's like more powerful than the other gods, or if like they were starting to realize what was happening, right? The pantheon, the living pantheon, was starting to realize how they were being murdered and was trying to take steps to stop it. And he's not sure if like one of his measures worked, if he's just a little bit too powerful and something went wrong, or if their power to kill gods is starting to weaken somehow. He's not sure. But for whatever reason, a lifetime ago, right, he got killed and then was reborn as Malekith. So he's always been Malekith, and he slowly remembered who he was as he grew up, right, as he lived his life. Slowly became more aware of, oh, I was reborn in a mortal body for some reason, but I'm still this person, and if I die again, I will go to be with the dead gods. And so he's lived his life in fear that will happen to him.
Fair.
At least that's what he's guessing will happen. I don't know if he has empirical proof that will happen, but he's worried that it will. Yeah, he breaks that all down for you, and he's basically just like, I don't know, like it's been a lot of years since I died, so I don't know which of the pantheon has died after me or like what's happening. I've been largely cut off from the divine for a while.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, well, giving Sinia to Setkus is out the door. That's fine, because otherwise I was gonna probably go down that route. So, wow.
And he's like, it would work. Like it would save Sinia. He's just worried about the power it would give his brother. So.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Not an option. It's fine. It doesn't have to be an option. Well, I'll start going down through my contacts. And I think she just says that. She's just like, then don't worry. I will work to take care of it.
And that is another reason I married you.
Well, I married you because I thought I wanted a really simple life. And here I am.
I am rich.
I didn't marry you for that, but
Maya, we need to get back our son. We need to get our son back for more reasons than just he's our son. He's also He's the one who will save the world, if anyone does.
I don't think I've ever been more sure of that.
Nice. That's a great line to end that scene on.
Okay.
Sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't not planning on revealing that for a while, but
here we are. Hey, you know what? But Maya respects him so much more now.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little terrified there for a minute.
Yeah.
The glowy eyes.
Yep.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it's still her hubby.
It's true. Yeah, especially because he didn't tell you, yeah, a year ago I turned into the god Pyrrhus. I was Malekith before that, but...
yeah, if you told me that might have been a little weird.
Yep.
Oh. So he seems really sincere. I'm assuming he's not lying about that.
No, he's not lying. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you succeeded the rolls, right? So you... In terms of mechanics, you've gotten the correct answer. He didn't lie to you. He was being honest. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Joser, you go.
So yeah, that does mean that Ben Asher is a demigod. So
yeah, no, I gathered that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, protect him, Alpheus.
I gathered that.
Well, hopefully he has some magic or something.
He doesn't know. If he does, he doesn't know it.
Better learn.
Yeah.
And we can probably just continue on from that. So we cool down, we stop what's his name's eyes glowing, everything cools down, and then there's a knock on the door. It's like, excuse me, is there anybody here? I wanted to talk to you, Malekith, if it is possible.
Malekith looks at you, kind of chuckles, and says, "Yes, Joser, come in."
Yes,
Maya
yeah,
pushes away, and then
Yep. Probably the cloth covering to the door comes. I hope so. So Malekith, you need to be more honest with your wife.
And Maya looks at him just so we don't have secrets from each other.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maya. I did not see. He is a perfectly honest man. No problems.
And Malekith is frowning at you. He's like, I don't know what you're implying, Joser.
I mean, well, it's weird now because I did tell her. It's just she didn't realize. So now I'm trying to tell you before she realized. I believe she may have misinterpreted when I was telling her. I think she thought that I was talking about the man in blue robes.
Whatever you have
in
to
your
say,
house many times.
Whatever you have to say, Joser, you can say in front of her. We don't keep secrets from each other. And he looks at you, my eyes have to say not anymore.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. And he turns to both of them and says, from now on, I have placed you second only to Hagiel in my loyalties. So if you want to keep on the no secrets allowed thing, I'm totally on board. But Malekith, I wish you should inform your wife of your previous association with the man who kidnapped your son.
And she then turns to Malekith and is just like, I'm sorry. Huh?
Oh, wait, were there secrets being kept? Ah!
He's staring at you.
She's not so dramatic, but she definitely gives the side eye.
He doesn't look at you, Maya. He's just staring at Joser, and he's like, Titan kidnapped my son.
Yes, indeed.
Wait. You know the name of the man that kidnapped our son?
When you gave me his description, I had suspicions, but I couldn't confirm them, and so I figured it was best not to say anything.
Maya just starts cursing and just pacing the floor. And
he's a spy that works for Kyrides. He helped us. He looks at you, Joser, kind of steals himself, no secrets, no secrets, no secrets. He's like, Alpheus and I worked with him to engineer the downfall of Sinia. I was under the impression that Thestios would be the death of that city. And I had no idea that his daughter was more dangerous, or that she was even still alive when I did so. It all fell apart, of course, but that was not
What's
my
funny
intention.
is I think Maya's going to be way more upset about this than the whole God thing. She's going to be like, so wait, you mean to tell me not only did I give you the description and you had suspicions about who the man's name was and you didn't tell me, but you worked with him to engineer the death of my father.
Yes. Maya, I have not...
I think she's just going to walk away before she's like, I'm just going to walk away before I say anything that I'm going to regret. We will talk later. I have
said and done many things that I regret, Maya. I am not claiming
she's not
otherwise.
listening.
Yeah. And he trails off as you leave, and he looks back at Joser. He's like, thank you for that. Everything was going way better, or everything was going very well before you entered the picture here.
It's not my fault. You told me there were no secrets. I was coming in here going to be all sneaky like. Fine.
I didn't.
Well, now do I tell you it, or do I tell her?
How do you even know this?
The sun... Mysteries are... I can't remember what I told her yesterday. Mysteries are less common than you think. It's just who knows them.
He's like frowning at you. It's like, is that all you came here to tell me, Joser?
Sort of. I also wish to tell you that Hagiel was gracious enough to send a storm to attempt to smite Titan, but I weather is fickle.
He's just still like just glaring at you.
Okay, I will be back.
He just doesn't know how to respond to any of this. He's just like, okay, I guess.
Am I in on the no secrets business? Or am I still on the out? I'll ask later. I will go talk. I was going to talk to Maya, but now she's mad at me. And he just walks out, just rambling, making comments.
Yeah. And I think Malekith just like is like staring after you, just like contemplative about something. And then Joser, do you have like an actual belief you want to work on? Then something. Since you're probably not gonna be able to talk to Maya right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably talk to the Masons with Maya at some point. So I guess I'll go find a bodyguard.
Cool. Yeah, that works. Works for me. Sounds like a circles test of some sort. Or something leading up to a circles test. What do you think?
Yeah, probably a circles test. I'm basically looking for another priest within the temple who's got some martial skills.
Who also was a soldier. At some point.
Yeah, probably. In order to rope my other things into it, I might say it's someone I know has more combat skills because I've done surgery on him before.
Oh, okay.
Like I patched him up after one of his very many and varied things. And then, of course, I fail the circles test terribly. I did a really terrible job at botching. Poor leg.
Yeah, so this would have been someone who was a temple acolyte or a priest. So shares that life path with you, and then also happens to be
special knowledge.
Good at fighting. So does it matter if this guy is same or lower or higher station than you?
Doesn't particularly.
Okay, so I'm thinking Ob 3. We'll do the +2 for disposition knowledge, different from members of Circle.
Alrighty. So it'd be circles.
Got a 2.
I do have a 2 in circles. So 3.
You can use your Church of Hagiel affiliation and the fortuitous surgeon because of what you said. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
Cool. Perfect.
I have
Good luck.
some persona.
Does Thalia have a life path or setting that coincides with this at all?
Don't think so. She's born noble and then noble courts, both ways.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't think
Probably not then.
I don't think it matches up. I haven't
All right.
checked with that app pupil things, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I
think
just checked. It was noble court. Yeah. So.
Yep.
All right, go for it. Up 3.
Just thinking whether I should make a link test with something to see if there's good. No, I might save them and then use it for the resources role later. Okay. Doop. Reputation 4. Arthur dice none. Release obstacle 3.
Very good.
Okay. I get him.
Cool stuff. Yeah. So, bodyguard dude. Let's generate a name for this dude.
Mhm.
Do. Let's name this guy Sadiq. And Sadiq. Yeah, he probably. I mean, he wears still like the colors of the Church of Hagiel. But probably is it's like armor and a tabard and whatever else, something along those lines. So he's more of like kind of a paladin type. And I'll have to figure out exactly what the life path situation is for him when I burn him up. But yeah, he's kind of gone back and forth between being a churchman and working as a soldier at some point, doing some fighting. Cool. Yeah. Did you have any particular? So you just want like him to hang around with you and protect you?
Yeah. So I was going to see if I could hire him on as like a more permanent bodyguard.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Let's say you find him. I don't know. Where would he frequent? Let's say like a bar or a tea room or something along those lines. Some palm wine or whatever. He's drinking in the back room of a cafe. Yeah, how do you approach or introduce yourself or reacquaint yourself with the man?
I think mainly Joseph tends to be a little bit more. He's definitely more of subtle and cunning than Saris is in the way below. So he probably does the thing where he goes in there, he like has a drink at the bar, and then like, I spotted him off in the corner. Hey, yeah,
sure. Yeah, so you like sit down next to him and he says, Joseph, it has been a long time since I've seen you.
Indeed, Sadiq. What must have been a couple of years now. I've been in the depths of ink for some time and only recently returned.
I heard you just came back with the Sinian refugees. Your description is unmistakable.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, it is. Happily, they are mostly recovered by now. A little bit of hassle, but at least the disease is gone.
Well, are Sinians ever fully recovered from anything?
It's very true. I told them not to take them to bed for a week to make sure we don't get any recurrences, but I think mostly the problem is solved. At least any ones that we need to worry about as the general. I've already approached the bishop about most of the problems they will continue to have.
Yes. Charity worker Joseph, always helping the little man.
Yes. It's a terrible business. People need to eat, sleep, have like roofs over their heads.
I much prefer stabbing people myself.
I prefer a tent. Speaking of stabbing people, though,
I was wondering where this was going.
I've found myself, I'm getting really important now. People are wanting me to do things for them. And of course, when you do things for people, well,
Other people
other
don't like
people
the things.
don't
that
want you
do.
to do the things. It's very sitting down and doing nothing is much preferable. But
I did prefer
yes.
meditation in the temple myself.
Yes. Well, in this case, I'm wanting to prevent people stabbing me. And as they say, the best defense is a good offense.
So, are you here to hire me, Joe, sir?
I am here to have a drink, but you are here, so why not make a deal in the meantime?
Let me ask a question first. When you say that
questions.
When you say that people don't like the things that you're doing, who are you implying might be trying to hurt you?
Well, it's come to my attention that there is a ginormous church in our city that likes death.
They do like that, don't they?
And then it
So the
seems that they
hierarchs
would
are
like
after you
more
then?
death. Who knows? Anybody could be after me. No one has yet tried to stab me. As you can see, I'm not bleeding out yet.
Well, you're a surgeon. You could have patched it up.
I could have, but I didn't. Besides, it's hard to perform a surgery on myself. I've tried it before. It doesn't work very well.
Joe, sir, I am perfectly happy to take your money, but I just want to make sure that I know what I'm getting myself into.
Yes, well, primarily you'll be making sure that I don't get stabbed and my niece doesn't get stabbed.
Your
in return,
niece. I didn't know you had a niece.
Well, there's a reason I go into the depths of ink.
Oh. Bring her back from the barbarians in Sinia?
Of a sort, yes, yes.
Pretty much.
I brought her back, and then everybody wanted to come with her. She's immensely likable.
Ah, yes, yes. Well, is she pretty?
I can't talk about my niece like that. But
Well.
yes, she's very nice.
All right. Well, that's a point in your favor right there. Okay. All right. I'll think about it.
Just as long as you keep her in mind as a damsel in distress and not
Yes,
a potential love interest.
Well, why not both?
Prove yourself a gallant knight first.
Okay.
all
All
means.
right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, so what are my hours going to be like, Joe, sir? They're at all times? Or are there certain places that you need protection at?
Well, as many times you are free, preferably. I'd like you on board.
I don't have another job right now. I'm actually running a little bit low on cash. You can tell I did not get the expensive line.
Excellent. Yes, no, I mean, to a certain extent, there'll be times when you have to stand outside the door instead of standing next to me. And, apparently I... literally just today I was talking to them, and I'm not yet in on the circle of no secrets yet. But
Well, I do prefer standing to actually, having to do anything. So as long as I'll stand as long as you want me to, Joe, sir.
excellent. That can be agreed upon. Myself, I have a dagger. I can stab people or, perform surgery on them. My niece happens to be quite handy with an axe, so we're not defenseless.
She just raises an eyebrow. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, so he nods. He's like, but who knows what enemies might be lurking in the shadows, and you need big, strong man to help you.
Indeed, I am not big, strong man. I am middlingly strong man.
Yes, you're fine.
I lifted weights on a ship for 3 months. It was quite tough.
Check my practice cycles. I did.
I'm not doing any more lifting if I can help it. So, but with you on side, I think it should be quite beneficial.
Very well, Joel, sir. I will come and stand around for you as long as you pay me money.
Excellent. I will see if I can wrangle up some money and the starting benefit, so I'm not completely tossing you in blind.
An advance is always welcome.
Excellent. I shall arrange it shortly.
Cool.
Come to this location tomorrow morning, and I'll have the funds.
Very nice. It is a pleasure doing business with you, Joe, sir. And for both of our sakes, I hope you don't get killed between now and then.
Absolutely. Now, by the way, is there a Mrs. Sadiq? I'm assuming not by the fact you're expecting.
Yeah, we probably just like cut the scene there.
Descend into
Yeah.
media. Yep.
Cool. Sounds like a resources test. You're hiring a
Yep.
bodyguard.
Indeed.
Let's take a look at resources. They probably have a note on that.
I
sort
think
of
they
thing.
do. I believe it was 4, but let me find that. Where is it? 3.
It's not lifestyle maintenance. It's actually
Where was
buying
bodyguard?
stuff.
Maintain no.
Like service
it?
wage rate.
I saw it at one point, but it might have been in a different book. Mana, modifications.
OB4.
Sweet.
OB4 resources test to upkeep a bodyguard.
Excellent. Do I bother trying to haggle? Probably not. But I will make a link test. I don't have haggling. It was one of the potential ones, but then I ended up practicing preaching and jargon instead.
Much more helpful.
Much more helpful things. Let's see. Could I perhaps ask for a church politics wise? In order to say that I'm part of the payment is that it's actually good for his career to be with.
Sure. You can make a link test with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not can't fork into resources anyway. So church politics.
We'll do the standard OB2.
OB2, yep.
It ends up really.
No, I don't know which ones
out.
you would allow me to fork in here because I could see things like social ones to actually persuade him that it's a good idea.
Yeah, let me take a look at your list here.
Like bureaucracy and anticipation, persuasion and stuff like that, or suasion because he's religious. But I'll let you have a look at them because my brain goes on many tangents and justifies anything.
So you're making a church politics wise roll. Yeah, that's the weird thing. Is like if the wise is the main skill, it seems sort of weird to add in like bureaucracy.
Yeah, the persuasion. It's just that resources. Apart from like accounting, so I suppose you could use some other skill because it does cite accounting, but mainly I think it's the wise is the way I've seen it done before.
Well, let's just go with the church politics wise. I don't think you can fork in temple wise, I think. But I think that's probably it. This is more about rolling a wise in a situation like this. Be more about like something being true than you saying something
the opportunity.
To them.
Perhaps bureaucracy.
That one is partially based on. Is it just a will skill?
I believe it's will. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the only one that is probably immediately applicable. That makes sense.
Yep. Bureaucracy. I remember seeing something in bureaucracy, and now that was similar to it. Yep, cool. I shall fork those 2 in then. Church politics, 2 forks. OB2. I won't put any Arthur into this one. Nice.
Very good. Yep. So you can get a bonus die.
Bonus on that. Okay. So now we make resources test. It is OB4, we said. I might try and rustle off a cash die first.
Okay.
So 2 from the fund, and it's OB2. Actually, no, I won't bother with the cash die. I'll just use all my persona on them instead. So resources, 2 funds, 1 advantage is 3. And then I'll put I'll put 2 Arthur into it, 2 persona.
The fun thing about adding like a random sea serpent to the map here is that I'm kind of implying that they exist in this setting, but we haven't seen one yet, so maybe we will. I don't know.
Yep. I renamed our fund to be Sinia Hope Limited.
Your hedge fund.
Yep. Based on 4. Let's see how we go.
Almost.
I
Got a
will-
6.
Yeah, I'll put my 2 persona and resources. And I'll spend 2 fate
2
on
fate.
it.
Okay. This is just to generate the cash die, yeah.
No, this is the whole
This is
thing.
the actual roll. Okay.
Yeah. I just use persona on it instead of generating a cash die.
Got it.
Fate, remaining on 1. Dice 2.
There you go.
Nice.
All you needed.
So I have his salary.
You have officially salaried a bodyguard. Congrats. I'll have to make a character sheet for him. This is one of the things that I'm excited about for season 3 too. Is like circling up fun new characters like this to add to our roster after so many people died in the last 2 seasons.
Very true.
Awesome. So, Carly, I don't know if you're there right now. I'm probably getting Finn to bed. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, it's already 8. She's probably already asleep.
I will be there in a second.
Sounds good. Any other quick thing that anyone wants to do? Quick roll or something before we jump over to Avra? Cool. Guess we'll just sit here in silence then.
I mean, I can
I mean,
make
I don't
my
mind
roll to see if I can talk to Sidian people with my
Maya,
foreign languages.
Maya, let's jump to you. And you wanted to find you. Damaris was going to get you someone to go find Ben Asher.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say that, or roll a quick circles roll to see if I could find like somebody who'd be willing to like recruit citizens for the Church of Hagayel.
Sure. Yeah, just like delegate
like
that to someone else. Yeah.
Right.
That makes
Just
sense
like
to me.
be like, hey, you're like, you were a construction person. Like,
Yeah,
will
yeah.
you,
You're a
like,
respected
recruit
member
people?
of the community. Would you? Yeah. Okay. So
I thought that could be a quick roll.
Yeah. So you have City Wife as a life path, which means you at least have access to like the city setting, which is probably what this person would be part of.
Mm-hmm.
So that is certainly a circles row we can make. Let me find that. So it's in the same setting. And so the question would be, do you need this person to already be like a citizen in high standing that would be able to wrangle someone together? Or is this just anyone in the city setting who could fulfill this function? And then you can like, hit or miss how good they are at it. Because basically the difference is between an Op 3 or Op 4 circles test.
Oof. Well, if I do an Op 4, I'm definitely not going to make that. So
yeah. You can get people to help you with circles though. Like you have like, Gavril and Kalik and Malekith. They all have city life pass that they
well,
can.
I'm upset with my husband right now.
That's true.
So
I mean, you have Gavril and Kalik who can help you.
Yeah, Gavril could help me, I suppose. I mean, I definitely would want. If I'm going to delegate this out, I would want it to be somebody who's responsible.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, so let's go for the Op 4. So this would be someone like, if you succeed, they just will take it over and do it well, and you don't have to worry about it, basically. So unfortunately, I don't think any of your reputations or affiliations really come into play here, unless you're like trying to find like an artisan, right? Like
right.
Then patron of the arts would come into play. But if it's just like a handyman, that's different.
Well, what would be? I mean.
Unfortunately, I guess trying to find an artisan would probably also increase the odd by another 1, though, because they would like specify it even further. So it's probably a bust to go for something like that. So you have a 3 in circles, rolling against Op 4. Gavril can give you a die. Yep, he has a 4 in circles, so he can give you a die. And I think he has relevant life path. Actually, let me check. Yes, he is done. He at least has 1 city life path here. So, and then Kalek, where's he? He also has city life path.
Just for you, Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the base of for it, it does say that if they're like non-criminal life paths within the city setting, would just be odd one because it's a common profession, like a broad occupation.
So the issue is that Maya doesn't have the same life path.
Yeah, well, it
right.
doesn't matter. It just says as long as it's a broad enough occupation or like a, I think the list it actually says is if you're part of the city dweller or villager, any non-criminal falls under the broad occupation definition.
Right.
Because whereas criminal elements would be considered uncommon.
But then why does it say, because the other ob2 says uncommon occupation or within the same setting, right? So the idea is if you're within the same setting, I don't like that doesn't make sense to me if that's the way it would work then, because
it's just it literally says directly after that in the blurb. So
for characters with a city dweller or villager studying life path, any non-criminal city dweller or village life path fall under the broad occupation definition. Criminal elements are considered uncommon. Then I don't even know why they would have that delineation. Then it seems really weird. Maybe it's just for things that aren't city or village, I guess. Maybe. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because it would be like everyone knows a handyman. Everyone knows. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, whereas not everyone knows a random kidnapper. You've got an outhouse lifer.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that means it's just an ob2 then.
Okay.
So much more manageable, and you can get 2 advantage to helping dice from your fellow council members.
We saw 2.
Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to find an artisan, you could make it 3.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oof. Well, no 6s.
Okay, well,
but
I'll use a fate. I mean, I've got 8,
yep.
so
1 failed dice.
Well.
Yep.
Man, that sucked. Wow, I rolled 5 dice. Oh no! How did I go from rolling 7 in persuasion to rolling 6 dice and only getting 1 success?
That sucks. I guess this guy is like someone who you think is trustworthy and won't do a good job, I guess. Or it's someone who, okay, so these are the 2 options. It's either that or it's someone that you have to convince to do it, right? Like who, when you ask him, he's like, no, of course not.
Probably. I mean, I think I could convince him to do it. So
yeah, that makes sense. So maybe it's like a family man, and we don't necessarily need to play out this a whole bunch because we want to jump over to Avra, but it's probably like a family man.
If you want to we could just say that that's my role working towards it, and we can just cut to me later. That's fine.
Well, I mean,
I know
I was going to say
the name
pretty quickly. We could just do okay.
Quick persuasion.
He's a handyman, right? Who is worried about his family. He doesn't have time to spare. Like maybe his kid is sick with like something that's not the cerulean plague, and he's just worried. And he's like, I can't take time away from my family. But you'd be convincing them, no, this is for your family. Like they're going to be given food and supplies. Like,
or I could ugly truth him and say, if you don't do this, we're going to all starve, and they are going to die. Yeah,
either one is an option, I suppose.
Well, I want to work on ugly truth, so
okay, yeah, go for it. I think that's probably just an one ugly truth. I mean, it's probably just true, right? That is what
would happen.
The way that it is right now. Yeah.
Okay. Can I fork in persuasion as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I need to fork in anything else. That's
probably not. No.
Okay. Well, hopefully I don't just royally fail this too.
Yeah, that would
be bad. Really suck. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Only 1 dice. Only 1 success. That's wild.
I mean, that's all I needed, but that's wild.
Yep.
This game really hates me, I feel sometimes.
Cool. Yeah, but you did do it. The guy's gonna help out. But you haven't made a friend here today. You've just bullied a guy. So
you know what? This actually makes sense because she's not in a good mood.
That's true. Yeah. Fair enough. Honestly, you can add this guy to your enemy circles. Like that is technically what happened with that circles roll. So
I mean, I can if you want me to.
Yeah, I don't know. He might come back. Who knows? Cool. Let's jump over to Avra to finish us off. So Avra, you are coming into Nema, right? We see the the mountains framing the back of the city. It's like built into at the edge of these mountains, like these kind of coastal cliffy sort of areas. There's a giant fortress that kind of frames the center of the city as you're coming into the harbor. Yeah, Citus is like watching the site next to you, and I guess what is Avra's first plan? Just to find Keladon, I assume?
Yeah, probably.
And you have him as a relationship, so you can just find him, right? Like you don't have to make a circles roll or anything. So let's figure out where Keladon would be. So there isn't a library district in here, that would be the obvious thing. But I guess he would probably be in the citizens district then. So this first district. And he is probably he came here to like hire mercenaries, right? To like get help from Nima, and like bring an army back. So I think he's probably he's doing some bureaucratic thing, right? He's like to try to like get access to this. Let me look at my notes for Nima real quick. I'm trying to think if this is like, a marketplace where he's literally like haggling with a dude about his army. Like that's the kind of place this is, or if he's going to like the government to get their aid. Let's take a look. Nima. So Nima is going to be culturally, it's kind of like Egyptian, of course, because it's still kind of the same Autoket base people. But it's also, there's some Phoenician thrown in here. There's some Carthaginian, North African, that sort of thing going on culturally. Let's see. Looks like their government is a plutocracy, which I can't remember for some reason what that means. I think it's wealthy, government by the wealthy. Okay, so it's just like a bunch of merchant lords who rule the city by being rich. So yeah, I think this is a pretty cutthroat capitalistic society. And so he's probably like in, not a market, but like at some rich merchant's manor, like trying to haggle with him about like the price of his mercenary army that he owns, right? So Avra, you search around, you ask around, Citus helps you out here. And eventually someone points you to the fact that like he's been at this manor all day, like talking to this rich merchant guy who I'll probably have to make a name for eventually. But Avra probably gets led into this manor by a servant. It's again kind of like North African in flavor, probably architecturally. The whole city is very. I don't know if you can tell this from the. I used a different like randomly generated layout from the other ones, but it's built very compact. The whole city is kind of built to be a very easy place to defend. So this guy's manor probably looks more like a bunker or a fortress or something than a state. So you're let in. There's like a bunch of guards. They probably have kind of dark skin here, so like a bunch of kind of darker skinned, tall dudes with like spears. Kind of let you in, guarding the entrance, and you hear Keladon. You and Citus are walking in, and you hear Keladon like arguing with a dude. And he's saying something like, "No, we don't have the amount of funds you're asking for, but you don't understand. If you help save Sinia, there will be money in the treasury to give you then. But this is a desperate situation, and we'll be willing to pay a lot, but only after you save us. Do you not understand the situation we're in? We can't give you in advance. It's risk and reward." And the man, the merchant, is just like shaking his head as you walk around the corner and see this. this little like sitting room they're talking in. He shakes his head. He's like, "You've already you've already offered this contract to 3 other merchant lords in the city, and they didn't take it. Why didn't they take it? What am I missing from the situation? If I send my mercenaries out to help Sinia, then that means my manor is going to be defenseless. And the amount of soldiers you're asking for, I would indeed be defenseless. The power in this city is very, very carefully balanced. And if we all send our mercenaries at the same time, well then, that's fine. But only one of us? That's just asking to be taken over." And then Celadon like notices you and like turns, and his eyes widen, and he just like smiles really wide, and then like goes and like hugs you. Afra, how are you?
Oh, did he not know I was coming?
I mean, given the amount of time letters take to arrive places, you maybe sent a letter like to tell him that you were like what happened in Sinia and that you were safe in Setkis, but I don't think a letter could have reached him in time before you could have just arrived here. So I don't think he knew you were coming, at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah, the ships that were leaving Sinia when you would have been leaving Sinia were all going to Setkis.
We're all going to Setkis, yeah.
And then by the time they fixed quarantine, or at least enough to actually send another ships elsewhere, then it'd be the one that you're on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just like, why are you here?
Was the only reason I came here to help him? I forget.
So
I know there were like more factors, but I don't remember what the exact situation was.
So the plan, right? The plan to save Sinia is threefold, right? Get Setkis on your side, get Nima on your side, and get Kyrides on your side. And then all 3 of the groups are going to come and save Sinia with their armies or their resources or whatever, right? And so Celadon was being sent here specifically. His main thing is the troops, right? Hire a bunch of mercenaries so that we have the manpower to not only like rescue Sinia, but also push the Jugati raiders that are like destroying the countryside, which was the initial reason you wanted soldiers. But yeah, so that's the main reason you're here. But then the idea would be while you're here, you're going to do Irida stuff as well. So,
right. Yeah, she just like pulls back from Celadon and is like, I mean, you were the only one here, and from what it seems, you need a little help.
Yeah, and that's when he notices Situs is there, and he like turns and he's like, what are you doing here? And like he knows this dude as the guy he did a debate with at one point, right? That's the only person he knows.
Oh yeah.
And so he's just really confused. And Situs steps forward and like bows, and he says, "Lord Celadon, there's some things that we need to discuss. I'm here to help you and Avra accomplish your goals." And Celadon like is just confused, turns back to the merchant, and he says, "My lord, would you mind if we continue this discussion at a later time?" The merchant like waves his hand. He's like, "As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to discuss. Go." And Celadon like grits his teeth, but like bows, and then like walks off with you two. Yeah, and I think he, I guess, leads you back to his like the flat that he's rented while he's here to like as his like home base. And we probably just cut to that, and you guys are all just kind of sitting in his like the apartment he's rented, and he's just obviously still confused, and he finally is just like sitting down, and he just says, "Okay, can someone please tell me exactly what's going on here?" And that's when Situs gives him the rundown, right? He's like, "I'm an angel. I'm here to save the world," right? Obviously, that's not what he says, but that's how it comes across to Celadon.
Might have to tell him the whole deal about Sinia being kaput.
Yes, that obviously is in the explanation. He also explains like, and you and Situs both probably explain. yeah, Avra's starting to become the next prophet of Sinia, and she's seen weird visions, and the Irida's changing her mind, and she, like, I'm here to help her with that too. So all of that kind of gets lore dumped to Caledon. So he's caught up now, and he's just like sitting back, like just poof, like very shocked by all of it. And he just says, and I thought hiring a group of mercenaries was going to be hard. Now you're telling me that we have to save the entire planet from what exactly? And Citus kind of smiles patiently, and he says, "You call them jinn. I and me and mine call them Tenerin. They're demons, monstrosities, evil that is threatening your planet as it threatens most of the spheres. The gods are being killed, and the secrets that Avra can discern from the Irida are going to be the difference between life and death for the Pantheon and life and death for Arcadia as a whole. Your mission here is still important. You need to hire those mercenaries, and you need to send them to Sinia. The plan is still in motion. As far as we know, Alpheus is still being taken to Kyrides. Whether or not he is going to be whether or not Titan is going to be controlling, pulling the strings, we don't know. But at the very least, if we get mercenaries from Nima to Sinia, and we have the resources of Setkes at our disposal, Sinia can be saved. But in the meantime, Avra and I will be working through the Irida, and I'm here to help with whatever you need as well. There's only so much that I can do. There's only so much that I understand about what is happening here. But I do know quite a bit that I think might be helpful. Caledon's just nodding, and he turns to you, Avra. He's like, "What do you make of all of this?"
I'm trying to remember the actual instance where I first met Citus, because he saved my life, right, from Ophelia.
Yeah, so you did meet Citus when Caledon was debating him that one time.
Right.
But then he showed up again when you were trying to get the Irida, and Ophelia was trying to kill you with a knife. He showed up with a magic sword that he summoned into his hand and like fended her off long enough that you could run. Is what happened.
Okay.
You haven't seen the sword since, but
yeah, I think she just says, honestly, I don't know what to make of any of it, but I've seen enough from Citus to not have a reason to doubt him or what he says.
All right. I suppose that's good enough for me. If you are actually seeing these visions, well, we knew the Prophet Kings were getting their visions, we were getting their information from somewhere. That was kind of the whole point of the position. I'm worried about the burden this is on you.
I don't know how she'd respond to that. Yeah, she just says, well, if it does end up being a burden, someone has to bear it, and it's already me, so.
He kind of smiles faintly and says, "That's one of the many reasons that I love you. But you don't have to bear it alone. I'm here." And Citus says, "And I'm here to help both of you with whatever you need. So, you're having trouble right now, Caledon, hiring these mercenaries?" And Caledon, like, yes, they need money up front to even consider the offer, and we just don't have any, especially now. I don't even really know where to go from here. And if I don't know if you have an idea, Carly, or if we want to crowdsource, like another avenue that could be taken here to get these mercenaries. Given you guys' skills.
Does Nima have the same like bird social culture?
Yeah. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk. I was going to talk about. So, one thing you actually maybe you did notice as you were walking through the city trying to find Caledon. You did see a lot of birds. Because the mountains here are like great for like the kind of like mountain falcons that kind of live in this region. But you only saw men wearing them. So there might be like a gender difference here.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. That's not really related to finding money somehow, but
yeah, Avra wants to enter the bird competition and win a bunch of money.
Kind of what I was thinking, but
yeah. I mean, it's certainly
not going to work because I mean, I'd have to find a new bird first and then work at that a bunch. But.
Yeah. I don't know if you know yet whether or not the same sort of competition with it is here, or if it's they use it more for more utilitarian purposes. It seems like a pretty utilitarian city, so.
Right, I imagine they use it mostly for like
either literal hunting or carrying messages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like Caledon technically has like a resources skill or a attribute, right? He has a resources of 2, but actually it's taxed by 1 right now, so he only has a 1, which is definitely not going to be enough to buy what you need, right? So the role that eventually needs to be made here, unless you find some way to make it not a resources role, is whatever like an army would be, right? I think it probably has something like that here. Maybe not. It's probably a lot of money. I mean, it doesn't say army anywhere here, but I guess that's probably because you don't really pay an army all at once. That'd be like a lifestyle obstacle thing. But like a warship is ob 10, building a castle is ob 10. And it might be something along those lines. So it's going to be a lot of money, and as you heard in the conversation, right, a lot of it has to do with like the balance of power here. Like if one person sends their mercenaries, especially the amount you need, they're going to be making themselves vulnerable in this kind of like cutthroat government that is here. So you're probably going to have to find someone and convince them to do it without getting paid, at least at first, and then promise them wealth afterwards. That's part of the issue with all of these plans right now, is that you guys really have nothing to offer the people that you're asking things from, except for Sinia itself, which you can't promise to all 3 of them, right? But I mean, if we don't have an idea yet about Caledon's problem, we could turn to the Irida stuff instead, right? That's something we could do, or to your bird thing.
Yeah.
Because it could be, right, like maybe even like Citus and Caledon start to go to work on the problem and talk about it, and Avra goes off to buy bird.
Yeah.
Right? That could be a thing.
Yeah,
or read the Irida.
I don't know if she would like try to go to a market and buy a bird. Like I feel like she might I mean, this might not be a larger cultural thing, but and I hadn't really thought of this before, but I think probably the way that she met Alikos was like something other than just like going and like buying a pet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think she's like
in Sinia, there's
she's like,
probably
I-
like giant breeding aviaries that like nobles,
Right.
like, people who are
Yeah.
hired by nobles to tend, right? It's very like exclusive and high breeding and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. So I think she's kind of thinking like, in order to have like a like organic connection again with an animal, like she can't just like go and buy one, like because she doesn't want to just like buy a bird that then she doesn't end up getting along with at all.
Well, so keep in mind, Avra could do that first, and she doesn't have to buy one. She just has to like walk through the marketplace and see what they even have to offer, right? And because you can talk to
guess
birds
so, yeah.
too, right? So like maybe there's one that happens to be there that is super cool, right? Because you can actually talk to them.
Mhm.
Do I do that?
That's true. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I think we see Avra taking a look through the marketplace as Citus and Celadon work through the logistics of trying to hire a mercenary group. And the first thing I want you to do, Avra, is make a perception test for me. Just make it
Always good.
make it graduated, and we'll just see what it.
What do you mean by graduated again?
Set it at ob 1, and how much you notice is how many successes you get. So it's like levels of noticing. So not very much. So there's just like one table that just happens to catch your eye, but you're not really sure why, and it's a pretty like fleeting, like, oh, I think I recognize something there. It's just like a table or a kiosk or a stall or something of an enchanter, right? So a guy so that's one of the main things that Nima is about. So if Sinia is the faith capital of the region and Setkis is the necromancy capital of the region, then Nima is the artifact creation, the enchanting capital of the region. They make a lot of magic items. You see this like stall of someone hawking the wares of like an enchanter who makes like trinkets and like a cool enchanted knife or a bracer or whatever else that gives that or the other small enchantment. And for some reason, like it's just like something in there in the like the gathered wares looks familiar to you for some reason, but you don't really know what it was that you like caught your eye, and now you're staring at it and you don't really see anything that like stands out to you.
Okay.
Do you just pass by, or do you investigate it further?
I guess I investigated further.
Sure. Yeah, so you like step up, and the merchant is just immediately like trying to hawk the ware. She's like, "Oh, hey, you! Are you from Kyrides, from Sinia? Well, we have he holds up something that he thinks you might like, some religious symbol of Pyrrhus or something. He's like, bring you good luck.
I'm assuming that like in this world there's no like photography or anything, and like
think Roman
like,
Empire highest tech level.
Right. Would anyone like even possibly recognize her as the Sinian princess?
Probably
from
not,
like
no.
art?
Not in
Okay.
Nima, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially not this like random merchant.
Right. Yeah. I immediately thought like, oh no, like no one knows her here. Realize that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you just like ask about something, or he's trying to like pawn this?
I don't know what I don't know what I'm supposed to be asking about. So,
I mean, if you like something caught your eye and you went to investigate it, you might ask something like, what else do you have? Like, can you show me what all these do? Like, sort of thing. Like, can you explain some of these things to me?
I'm just confused because you're acting like
I don't think
something on the table, but I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is something on the table that Avra has seen before, but she hasn't. She caught in the corner of her eye, and she hasn't noticed it again yet as she's like staring at the.
Okay. I mean, I keep staring at the table until I recognize it.
Fair enough. All right, I'll stop playing coy and just tell you, I suppose. Because the guy, if you stand there long enough, the guy's definitely gonna just like keep trying to hire pawn things off to you. And so the thing that I think he holds up and probably gets your attention is one of the bracers. And he holds it up and he says, "Oh, you're from Sinia? Yes, yes. Oh, you are a woman. They have birds in Sinia, do they not? And the women love their birds. Here, take this. It will make you much better with your bird." And then you put it together. The bracer looks exactly the same. There's like the same symbol on it and everything. Myra, not Maya, not to be confused with Maya, but Myra, the gal who was like the best falconer in the city, wore one of these. Which apparently means she was cheating the whole time.
Wow.
And if you actually go back in the archive, I do mention, I hint at this. I think I make Avra make a roll and she fails it at one point to notice this. But this is where she got it from. So I thought it might be fun to bring that back up. But if you wanted to buy one.
I mean, I don't even have a bird right now. So.
That's true. Galadon's like, we don't have enough money to hire a mercenary army. Avra immediately goes shopping and maxes out the credit card. Cool, yeah. So you just kind of move on and look at the try to find some birds. And yeah, you find a falconer, kind of middle-aged man who is feeding one of the birds. There's like a bunch of large cages with some falcons in them. And they are, I think I have a picture. Let me see if I can find it. I think I found a new image for the sort of like what these look like as opposed to the ones you're familiar with. See if I can grab it. But yeah, I think Avra starts like looking through the birds. And we can probably make a roll of some sort if you want to try to figure them out. But I'll see if I can grab this. Here we go. I named this picture New Bird Falcon. Don't know why. So this is the vibe we're getting from these new ones, right? So way more jagged looking, way more tough. Like they're not made for beauty. They're made for like speed and are bred for speed and for intimidation factor, that sort of thing. So these are the sorts of things you're seeing as you look through the aviary here. Do any of those colors catch your eye immediately that Avra would like go to?
Probably the first one.
Yeah, that looks the most like Alikos.
Yeah.
Do you find that makes sense? Avra finds one that like looks like Alikos. And you just want to start talking to it?
I guess so.
What do you say?
Well, I mean, she's probably more like listening to all the birds talk to each other.
Oh,
like
yeah,
if they're making any noises or anything, like seeing what kind of conversation they're having.
Yeah, I suppose here they're all probably mainly frustrated at their cage. Violence is very much on their speech. Whether or not it's like, I want to peck the dude who's handling us, or being angry at each other, or just lots of like aggression you're sensing from all these birds.
Yeah, she walks away.
Yeah, Savage just like, I'm not about this. I mean, if you want to like make a test of some sort to like actually like search through all those birds and find one that you want, that seems like something that we could do. Like an animal husbandry roll or a bird wise or something like that. What does animal husbandry actually involve?
Good question.
The raising, carrying, and breeding of animals. So that's probably not exactly what's happening. It certainly helps you know more about what bird's good, but I don't know if that'd be the role you're making here. I can't think of a better one, though. Because, like, Avra doesn't have Birdwise, but it seems silly to, like, have her roll Birdwise when she obviously knows about birds because she has other skills that let her know about birds. Let me look at falconry real quick. I'm just trying to see if there's, like, an ob that makes sense based on what the skills can actually do. It's the training on them. Yeah, I think animal husbandry is probably the role you're making. We'll have you make gonna be an ob 4 animal husbandry role to like actually find like the best specimen that is exactly what you want. So you have a 3 in it to start with, but you can like obviously fork in falconry. And that might be it, though. Yeah, that's probably it. So yeah, I mean, even if you don't succeed here, there's still other places to find birds and things. So, do you want to like spend a persona? You have 2. So currently with like the obvious fork of falconry, you're rolling 4 dice against an ob 4, which is pretty unlikely odds to succeed.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add 1.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, go ahead and click through animal husbandry and add in those dice. So 1 for help, 1 for Artha, and 4 for ob. We'll see what we get. And you have 5 fate, so you can use those 2 if you need them.
Yikes.
Makes sense that you fail this one. So mark that difficult, and that you spent a persona in it, in animal husbandry. I'm assuming you don't want to try for fate.
No.
Have to get 3 successes on 1 die. Cool. Yeah, so I mean, it seems pretty likely that this would be the first thing that happens, right? As Avra looks through the market, sees this, makes a roll, just doesn't find anything. It's like either they weren't raised right.
I think part of it is like the birds she's used to are raised and trained for like agility and speed and everything like these birds, but they're also like
raised
used
for
as
a noble
presentation
court.
piece.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So she's kind of just like, why don't these people understand that you can have a beautiful bird and still have them be functional and like a great specimen?
Yeah, so you'll have to do some more research and searching around the city to find like a true bird connoisseur. Or you can just walk into the mountains and try to find a wild one. You can talk to them. Cool. Well, we're getting close to the end here, so unless anyone had a last second thing they wanted to do, we'll probably wrap it up there. That makes sense to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sounds great. Let's go ahead and do Artha. All right, Alpheus, let's take a look at your stuff and see if you got anything. Hey, you escaped Titan's clutches. I mean, at least for now. I think I'll give you a fate for it because you haven't like really escaped him yet. Like, there's still a possibility of being recaptured, so we'll keep it at fate. I think for now. You're in the process of escaping.
I'm not getting captured. I'd rather die.
Yeah. So fate there. You attempted to get information about the general, but Nasos didn't really have anything to offer.
Yeah, I didn't get
you can take a fate for it, right? And you're certainly helping Ben do his thing too, right? I mean, escaping Titan's clutches was certainly part of that as well. So you can take another fate for that.
Cool.
Okay, let's take a look at the. I don't think you got anything for your traits. It was a pretty short piece for Alpheus this time. Which is fine because I mean we kind of skipped through like several days with Alpheus, so keeping everybody kind of in the same timeline, makes sense that we only do a little bit. Then we can do the meeting with Spiridon next time. Very excited for you to meet Spiridon. I have a lot of fun plans with him. Joser. What do you think?
Years. Well, I didn't get a chance to try anything to prepare the stage. That's nothing. And I didn't get to talk to Maya because she left. So
unfortunately, fate lined up badly.
Yeah. So it's just the second belief that I achieved.
Yep. Persona. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, the weather synth's actually achieved its purpose this time.
That's true. That's true. Did we give you a fate for that last time?
No, we didn't.
No, let's give it a fate because that certainly made things more interesting. I like that scene. So you can get a fate for that trait. But I'm not sure if there's any like right skill, right time, or embodiment or anything this time. So pretty.
Yeah, we had some funny conversations with both things, but I don't know that was something specific to call upon.
Lots of small things happened today. Maya.
Say small things.
Well, except for, Malekith revealing he's a god, I suppose. That was the biggest thing. So you recruited citizens to help the Church of Hagiel. You made the circles roll, and you convinced them, so you can take a persona there. And I'll give you a fate for the Malekith partner one, right? Like you're
okay.
Working on that with him. I'm going to give you a fate for never back down from a challenge.
I was going to argue for that because I kind of pushed back on him.
Your husband just revealed that he is the god Pyrrhus, and you were like, all right, let's go, right? Let's do it. Cool. And then Avra. So you mainly just worked on... The only role you made was the finding new companion stuff. So we'll give you a fate there. And I think that might be it though. Because pretty small stuff with everybody today. Little bits and pieces. All right, cool. So I don't know if there's any of the extra Arthur stuff this time. Because did anyone have a standout humor moment for them? There were several funny things that I remember happening, but I don't know if it was in character.
The only funny thing was Joser making the comment about his niece and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I did really like the conversation between him and the bodyguard. Let's give both of them. I'll give him as an NPC fate for humor. That makes sense to you guys. It's just a funny conversation. Cool stuff. Well, there you go.
Yes, Malekith, you need to be more honest with your wife.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was funny.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah.
Cool. So, Death unto Madness. That's it for now. We'll be back next time with some more fun stuff. We got Alpheus meeting Spiridon. We have Joser continuing to do, leading up to apparently a cool duel of wits he's going to do with another priest. Maya's going to try to track someone down to save their son. I have an idea about who that is. I'm excited to introduce him. Avra's she's trying to find a bird, and this will give me some time though to think about what paths Celadon and Citus can take to try to do work on their goals in the city here. And hopefully I can I'll try to find something that Avra can obviously help with, right? Like some sort of multi-step plan that Avra can have a piece of and can work on to help with everything. So all right, cool. We'll pick up next time with more Death and Madness. Thanks for playing, guys. We're out.